Hello friends, myself Rashmi Nagar. I am giving my presentation or the video lecture on recombinant protein. As we all know that in our childhood we arise a question, what are the building blocks of our cycle, life cycle or the life? So we can easily reply that the three are the building blocks of our cell or our life, that is carbohydrate, lipids and the proteins. These are the three compounds we are easily uptake by the food. In the metabolic process, the carbohydrate is first utilized, then the proteins are second utilized, and finally the lipids are utilized, because the lipid are the stored molecule of our body. Now the question arises, why this protein is not as used as normally processes. As we all know that the human beings are made up of by the organs are made up of by the cells, tissues, and the tissues are made up of by the cell. This cell have the component carbohydrate, lipids and the proteins. Now we have focus on the proteins. This proteins arises by the central dogma in a cell. What is the now the question arises, what is the central dogma? The central dogma has DNA, RNA and the proteins, in which DNA first we have the heredity, and this heredity component is DNA. This DNA is converted into the RNA and RNA converted into the protein. The process by which the DNA converted into the RNA is known as the replication. And the process by which the RNA or the mRNA converted into the protein is known as the process by which the RNA is converted into the protein is known as the translation. Now these proteins have the multiple functions, but in our daily life we know that the proteins are consumed by the food, and we can utilize this for energy production. This protein in the DNA molecular term, we know that the DNA sequences have the multiple number of the genes, like gene 1, gene 2 and gene 3 and so on. Also we know that gene 1 has this specific genetic code, like for example AUG. This code is also known as the initiation codon. This code represents a particular amino acid, and this amino acid ultimately combined with the other kind of the amino acid and produces the proteins. But the question arises, only the one genetic code or the one amino acid cannot be converted into the protein, as we have to use the recombinant DNA technology. As we all know the central dogma in the previous, by the central dogma we consider that the gene of interest, like for the example of the insulin, this gene of interest code the genetic code, and after the translation this only converts into the insulin. The number of the protein here is only 1. But when we find out, when we know that the genetic code, one genetic code convert into the one protein, but we have two large number of the insulin proteins. So what the question arises, what is the basic technique by which this protein or the insulin protein is converted into the number of copies? So for this reason we have identified the one technique that is based on the recombinant DNA technology. After that we first recognize that the basic techniques of the recombinant DNA technology. As we all know, in the RDT technology we have emphasis on the 3 particles. First, the gene of interest, to which we can incorporate it into the vector. The vectors are the plasmids, cosmid, BAC, YAC, etc. After that we have to incorporate it or insert it into the host cell. Generally we can use the E. coli cell. In this E. coli cell we have to insert it this vector, or also known as the chimeric DNA into the cell, host cell, for example in the E. coli. After that, when this E. coli cell can be grown into the multiple copies, this shows the number of the insulin protein. Like here, that is the gene of interest in the DNA sequence. Suppose this gene of interest show for the code for the insulin protein. When we use this vector along with this gene of interest, this is known as the chimeric DNA. When this chimeric DNA is formed and we can incorporate this into the E. coli cell, then the E. coli cell shows the central dogma, and after this incorporation, this E. coli cell grows the number of the gene of interest, and this gene of interest by the transcription or the translation process identified the number of copies like the insulin. So this number of copies of E. coli, the multiplication of E. coli cell having the targeted gene, this number of E. coli cells can generated into the number of the insulin protein. Now the proteins are, there are two types of proteins. First is the soluble protein and another one is the insoluble protein. When we use the soluble protein, this is easily to study and to purify. There are various kind of method for the purification of the recombinant protein. First, this is based on the measurement process, in which we can use the Lowry and the Barford method. For this two method, the absorption spectra is 280 nanometer. Second method is based on solubility, which emphasis on the ion exchange chromatography, mostly on the ion exchange chromatography, a little bit on the affinity and the ion exchange chromatography. Third one, after the purification of the recombinant protein, we have to characterize this protein. For the characterization of protein, we have two methods. First one is SDS page, sodium dodecyl sulfate page, and another one is the mass spectroscopy. As we all know, the proteins are made up of by the amino acid. If in the protein we have emphasis on the amino acid, so we can use mass spectroscopy or the Edmonds method. If we want to know the 3D structure of the protein, we can use the X-ray crystallography. Now the topic is purification of protein. Before entitled on the purification of protein, we first emphasize on the term protein folding. As we all know, the protein have the 3D structure like that. Tertiary structure. If we want to purify this if we want to purify the protein, we have firstly degraded this protein into the primary structure. After degradation into the primary structure, this protein shows like that. Denatured protein having lower entropy, that is minus del S. and this has the hydrophobic region for their stability, like that water molecule shows the hydrophobic provide the hydrophobic complex to the denatured protein. This is the water molecule. But when we want the purified protein or the soluble protein, this water molecule has shows the protein folding like that. This water molecule interact with each other and fold the protein, and the ends of the protein are free. So the interaction of the hydrophobic region of the denatured protein molecule within the protein structure is known as the protein folding, and this is useful for the higher entropy. And this higher entropy shows my positive TLDS value. Now we can start on the purification of there are multiple kinds of the method for the purification of the protein, but we can emphasize mostly on the first, centrifugation, second is dialysis, another one is the ion exchange chromatography, and fourth one is the gel filtration chromatography. Now we can emphasize first on the centrifugation. Like for the centrifugation, as we all know, the centrifugation shows the based on the density, like the dense molecule are settled down on the test tubes, and the lower molecule or the lower molecule and the smaller molecule so float under the supernatant. Like in this method, suppose this is test tube, we have the tissue from the human body. So firstly we have homogenized this tissue into the solution, like this is the solution or the buffer according to the tissue, and in this is tissue, and we homogenize it by the glass rod. After homogenization, we are centrifuge this solution at 500 Xg for the 10 minutes. After we have palette, as per the centrifugation law, we have the palette and the supernatant. So the dense particle are settled down into the palette, and the smaller molecule are settled down into the supernatant. This palette shows the nuclear fraction, and this nuclear fraction we can easily identify it by the microscopical method, like that. After that we can utilize this supernatant, and this supernatant is also centrifuged at 10,000 Xg for the 20 minutes. After 20 minutes centrifugation, we have another supernatant and the palette. This palette shows mitochondrial region. Also we have identified this mitochondrial method by the microscopic method, and we can identify that by this structure. After that we can also utilize the supernatant, and this supernatant can be centrifuged at 20,000 Xg for the 1 hour. After that we find out the palette and the supernatant. This supernatant shows the cytoplasmic region. which shows the presence of soluble proteins, whereas this palette shows the microsomal region. So this is all about the centrifugation. Now we can emphasize on the dialysis process. As we all know, the normal structure of the normal function of the osmosis, or the normal process of the osmosis, in which the molecule are moved from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So the same phenomena or the same strategy is used in the dialysis. Like suppose this is our test tube, in which we can fix our plate or the bed. This bed is deep into the buffer solution, where the concentration of the molecule is very lower than the bed concentration. Now we have the mixture of protein, and we can pour this mixture of protein into the bed. So the protein have the smaller molecule, middle molecule, and the larger molecule. So at that bed they can show larger molecule, middle molecule, and the smaller molecule also. Now here the concentration of the protein molecule is larger in the bed portion, whereas the molecule concentration is lower in the buffer. As per the osmosis, this molecule are moved into the buffer solution by the membrane of the bed. So after dialysis process, we can find out the structure as, so the smaller follicle is rapidly move from the pore size. So the smaller molecule are concentrated into the buffer solution, whereas the larger molecule are stable on the bed, and we can purify the larger molecule from the gel bed and the smaller molecule after the filtration process by the buffer solution.